Welcome back to the Blue Collar Trade Show, where real people share real stories about building, fixing, leading, and living with purpose. I'm Troy, and I'm here with the crew, Chad, Jim, Marissa. Each week we dig into lessons, have laughs, and hard-won wisdom from the folks who keep America running. Let's get into it. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Blue Collar Trade Show, everybody. I am happy to announce that we have Mr. Ron Crabtree with us today. Woohoo, Ron! All right, so we at the Blue Collar Trade Show have known Ron for a long time. We were just reminiscing about this. So how long have you known? I'm trying to think. It'd probably been 2010 when I probably met Ron-ish, right? So 15, 16 years. Jim, longer out then?
No, probably a little less because when the merger with when we got bought out, I was working somewhere else, and I came back just after that. So like in 2000, end of 2010, 2011. So probably 2011, I would say.
All right. Chad, you go
Let me
back
let me
further,
tell
right?
let me tell you a pretty interesting
First time, do
story
you
about
remember the first time you met Ron?
I do. So let me just kind of I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit, all right?
Very good.
So I was living in the great state of Ohio, and I signed on with a company named Atlas Butler in Columbus, Ohio. At that time, they were about a $12 million company, and that's 20 years ago. All right. And my first day there, they started giving me the tour around the shop and everything, and they brought me past the awards wall there, and it said Ron Crabtree, Ron Crabtree, Ron Crabtree, IAQ, equipment sales, club memberships, Ron Crabtree. I said, who the hell is Ron Crabtree? And they were like, oh, he's Mr. Atlas Butler. You'll meet him. So we got in there. I started working, and with that company, it was strictly performance pay. You didn't get paid drive time. So you really had
As it
to
should be.
you really had to perform to do well. If you didn't perform, you weren't going to do too well, and you're probably going to be fired or sent to the install department. I don't know which is worse. But so I said, well, I got to do well. So let me hook up with this guy, Ron. I gave him a call, and man, we hit it off. Our family started hanging out. He started teaching me a little bit about sales. The scripting, the canned scripting that I had already been given really wasn't working for me very well. And Ron was able to explain about how it was more about emotions and the customer and things of that, and a lot less about scripting.
Is that when you started crying in everybody's home if they didn't buy your product?
Yeah, that's what you do. That's the trick.
Used to get phone calls all the time. Say, why is this guy? He sounds like such a manly man, but he cries a lot.
He's a baby.
Weird amount.
So I worked there for like 3 or 4 years. Ron and I both got promotions at that time while I was working there, but I had to leave. I had a family emergency back in Florida, and I had to take off and move back to Florida. And I worked for myself in Florida for about a year, and it wasn't going so hot. Trying to raise a young family and all that just didn't work out. So I started looking for other jobs, and wouldn't you know it, on the day that I'm headed to accept a service manager position for a large company down here in Florida, I got a call out of the blue from Mr. Ron Crabtree. And he goes, hey, what are you doing? I said, oh, funny you called. I'm getting ready to go take this job at an air conditioning company. He goes, don't do it. I got somebody I want you to meet. And I went there, and that guy, his name was Lee Brooks. He told me, he goes, I started sitting down like we were getting ready to interview, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, interview, right? He goes, no, you signed the paper. You got the job already. Ron already talked about you here.
Verified.
And,
Bona fide.
yeah. So then Ron and I worked together for 10 years, Ron, at DE/AB. And we both earned promotions during that period of time, around the same time.
Almost the exact same time.
Is any of that true, Ron?
Yeah, actually, most of that is true.
Did you
All
take
most of it. That's good.
Did you
Yeah.
take all those awards down when you left Atlas Butler? Bring 'em home?
Those were their awards.
Are they still there, do you think?
I don't know. That's been a long time ago. So
Wouldn't that be cool if they were? They forgot.
20 plus years ago.
Crabtree guy.
20 years, man.
I mean, these were awards from back in the early 2000s. Go back to the old clockwork days. that we were part of a SGI company with Atlas Butler. So
Yeah.
we got to go do the whole Las Vegas trip to the Penn and Teller Theater. And I think Chad,
Yeah.
we also witnessed Jim Abrams at the time do the Napoleon Dynamite dance on stage back in those days. So it's been a long time ago. That was back in my youth, as I say.
So let's start with your youth. So tell us about you. So give us just high level, married, children,
Married,
how
have
you
3
got into
children.
this thing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm married. I've been married to my wife Sonia for almost 5 years now. We've been together for
Nice.
a little over 7. I have 3 children from my previous marriage. My son Briar, 24, who's also in the trades. He's an electrician.
Nice.
He just finished school with the IEC.
He's already smarter than you. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Electricians. Yep.
Keeps everything messy, so he's an electrician. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, right.
No, he just finished his school, IEC school. He's currently getting ready to take his master's test. He's wanting to get his master's license.
Okay. Good for him.
Company he's working for, they're a small emerging company in northern Kentucky. I think his boss is talking about sending Briar off to become an electrical engineer so they can take on even bigger projects as
Him.
as it
Badass.
goes on. My second child, my oldest daughter, she's 18. She's just about to graduate high school. She's committed to go to Tiffin University and play golf for them,
Really?
for the Dragons. And then my youngest, who is a freshman, will be a sophomore, 15 years old. She's a fanatic horse rider. She's in the English competitions, and she's just
wow.
she is as country as they come. She's a carbon copy of her dad when it comes to that. So
That's awesome. Well, that's very eclectic. Everybody's got something very unique going on. That's awesome.
everybody's different. Everybody's
Mhm.
different. So
All right. So how old were you when you woke up one day and said, you know what, my dreams would come true if I could become an HVAC guy?
16 years old.
16. Chad, how old were you? That's almost competing with you.
It is. I touched my first air conditioner at 13, but I really didn't start working on them until I was about 16. So about the same.
Yeah.
So thinking back to that, so these 16-year-old kids out there listening in, and we got millions of people listening to this show, Ron. Did you know that?
I heard.
Yeah.
I think we cracked 1.5 million last week.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't have any proof of that, but that's what I heard.
It's almost unbelievable. But anyway, so the
We got close,
16-year-olds,
we didn't get there.
you can check the stats, Chad.
Yeah, I did. Check stats. Got it.
So why at 16? Because I couldn't pee straight when I was 16. I certainly wasn't dialing in anything. What made you think that was what you wanted to do?
It was intriguing. I've always enjoyed the inner workings of electrical and mechanical and all that good stuff. And
Did you take shop classes and that sort of thing, and kind of got you into it, or did you?
I did, but I'm one of those kids that like to take things apart, figure out how they worked, and sometimes I put them back together, and sometimes I got grounded, and sometimes I didn't. So,
There you go.
Funny enough, I went to vocational school my last 2 years of high school for heating and air conditioning, and neighborhood guy was the instructor there, so he convinced me to come and join the program, and I took to it like a duck to water. I mean, my grades were good enough. I could have went to college and done all the college thing, but I just knew that it wasn't for me. I come from a pretty poor family, and I didn't want to put my family on that stressing path of worrying about paying for college and all that good stuff. So, and I was a hardworking guy, so I just jumped in and grabbed something I liked and got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Did-
did.
Did you? All right. So you went to. That was cool. I remember that. They still do that in some schools where they have you kind of your senior year. You can do.
Right. Yeah.
Go back, do both, right?
Yeah.
So
you go in the morning, and then in the afternoon you go to trade school or something. Yeah.
Did you go straight to Atlas Butler as a helper, or did you go somewhere
No,
else?
it's a company that was owned by Atlas Butler. It was out of Chillicothe. It's called Accurate Heating and Cooling, Chillicothe, Ohio. I went to them as a commercial install helper.
Okay.
And yes,
Fancy.
it's funny because I tell my son and a lot of people that I've mentored over the years, I started this business. I was making $5.25 an hour.
Wow.
Driving my own vehicle to and from the shop every day. So,
Yep.
That's pretty good money. I mean, that's almost $12,000 a year.
yeah, it was killer money.
So, It's
That's
not
tall
bad.
cotton right there.
I'll tell
That's
you
right.
what, though, I did get a taste of prevailing wage jobs. That was really nice back then. That was high cotton. So,
Oh,
making
I was
18
gonna
or
say
20 bucks an
$5 is
hour.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
good. So all right, so you're helping, and then so talk about your track. So you went
I
from boom, boom,
progressed
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
I progressed from there. I went into commercial service. I did that for about 3, 4, or 5 years, somewhere around there.
Did you
And then
choose commercial, or did you like one or the other, like
commer
residential, commercial? Did you
commercial
like
was
one
the
over
only option I had to get into
Oh,
service, and I
that's what
knew
it
I
was.
wanted to get into service, so I
Okay.
took the option. I'm 5'9.5". Vans are a lot taller than that,
Yeah.
so picking ladders up and off of vans, in the olden way that ladder racks are, and now I see some of these newer ones where they'll fold down and the ladder almost comes set up for you. But no, I got tired. I got an opportunity to get into the residential world, and that's where it really, really, really hit my stride because they've able to hit the communication. I had the technical side of the business down. I could fix anything there
Amen.
was out there. The technical piece was second nature. The challenge to me was the communication piece and the challenge of the homeowners and understanding, what makes them tick and what motivates them and influences them to want to move forward with your suggestions and options.
So you like
So
that? So we get asked that all the time at the virtual trade school. Should I do commercial or should I do residential? Right. And so what would you say to someone who's wants to get into HVAC, but they're not really sure which direction to lean?
it's really based on their personality. I mean, if they're an outgoing, they like people, they like talking to people. I would say the residential route's probably the best for them. If they don't like people and they want to be stuck with the machines and kind of be by themselves, I mean, commercial would be the route I would say. And then we need all.
Oh yeah.
We need
It's a
all. I mean,
lonely world though. That commercial work's a lonely world. So like I was saying, like Ron and I worked performance pay where we only made money if we got our customers involved with products and services. And so there's only two ways to be successful at that. You can lie, cheat, and steal, be a sleaze bag, right? And I know Ron, and Ron knows me. We're not that kind of people. So what's the difference? What's the difference between Ron, somebody that can get customers involved with products and services that do it the right way, versus the people that go out there and they mean well, but they just don't know how to articulate what it is they're trying to tell the customer, and they don't have success with that model.
well, you got to put a lot of time and practice into your craft and understanding what's really important and what needs to be done. And I think the biggest piece is to be able to articulate it in a way that somebody who doesn't do what we do every day can understand the
Yeah.
impact if they don't do something, or the ramifications if something goes wrong, and having those conversations, and having the technical background to understand that, hey, if we let this go, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, it's going to be a cascading effect on their equipment or their comfort or their peace of mind, and just being able to articulate that in a way that resonates with them. And that's the challenge with a lot of people, because it's not one course of conversation that can cover everybody. I mean, you've got many different types of personalities out there. You got people in different situations. I mean, sometimes you got to help people find money to do it. I mean, they want to do it, but they just don't have the money to do it. So, you got to be a financial aid person to try to find, financing for them and
Yeah.
understand, help them
Turn it over
understand those
rocks.
things. There's just a lot to what we do, and it's not just the technical side of it. It's the the warm feeling you get when you help somebody in the long run, and being rewarded to do that is a high motivation to be that person. So
Yeah. I so there's a rumor out there in the HVAC and well, all home services that most companies nowadays spend a lot of time training their people with skills, right? And not enough time with technical training. And now sales are important. That's the whole reason why that's the whole reason why the business exists. But do you believe that there's a lot of companies doing it wrong and teaching more sales and not enough technical training?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, you gotta first and foremost, you gotta be an expert in what you do. Um, you know, just like any mechanic. If you're taking your car to the garage, you want the mechanic to be able to mechanically identify the issues with your vehicle, not just try to sell you a new one, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think the difference comes in. I can identify the mechanical defects or electrical defects or refrigerant defects of a heating and cooling system to a customer, let them know, hey, this is exactly what it's going to do. This is what it's going to take to get this thing going. Or, you have the choice at this point in time, take that money, put it to a new one. And really kind of, you have to have conversations through their situations. Every situation is different. You have to understand where they're at in their life and what makes the most amount of sense for them. But you have to give them the information to make that educated decision on their own.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the difference between successful and unsuccessful.
Do you think that, all right, so if you're going to hire two different guys, right, as a technician in residential, one guy is supremely technical, really good. You don't have to worry about that, right? He can fix anything. But he's not scared. He's just shy, right? Maybe he's not he hasn't done anything in sales before, right? Hasn't been in that, not that he couldn't do it. He just never has been exposed to it, right? And then on the other hand, you got a guy who's super smooth. Everybody loves him, right? Charismatic, trusting, has that, it factor, right? But he's technically, he's got mechanically aptitude, right, to be able to figure it out. But doesn't have the skills to fix things yet, but teachable. Which one would you rather hire?
Well, I think it really boils down to attitude and effort. I mean, that's really in everything. Is the experienced technician, does he have the right attitude and effort to want to improve in his shortcomings? Or, if he doesn't, I mean, you still need people to fix stuff.
Yeah.
Let's
say the guy is really, the sales side guy, just, he wants to, but he doesn't know anything, right?
Yeah.
Who would you rather start with?
It really depends on the charisma they have as far as that goes, and the attitude and effort that they want to put into what their shortcoming might be.
Yeah.
I could see benefit to both.
Right.
I think
Right.
really, if you have one guy that's very well communicative and understands how to communicate, situations to customers, and you have a guy that can fix things, you might want both of them just to carry you through on that.
That could be true.
You
Yeah,
know,
because we
I
talk
just-
about we talk. The reason I ask, and I'll let you. The reason I ask is we talk about it all the time. You hire for character and you teach the technical, but I don't know that that's necessarily true, right? Because some people, that's saying that technical side is easier than the character side, right?
Well, no, it's definitely not. I mean, you're probably going to be better off if you were to pin me down and make me choose one. If the guy who has the technical ability has the ability to be coached and open mindedness, I'd probably pick that guy.
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for my customers every day. And then, a guy who doesn't have technical ability, he may miss things, he may misdiagnose things and things of that nature, and have different conversations that aren't the right thing to have.
There you go. Fair enough.
But
All right.
something you said though that it goes back to attitude because, and their want to, because you said that you'd pick the technical guy as long as he was coachable.
Yeah,
and that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really any employee you have. You want somebody that's coachable, and you want to have somebody that takes feedback and tries to better themselves every day. I mean, I know Chad's the same way as me. I've always wanted the next thing, the best thing, to be better in everything I've ever done.
How do you know that when you're talking to somebody that you're looking to hire, right? Because they're going to say the right things. Hey, I can fix things, and you can give them an assessment, and they can fix things. And they say, "Yeah, I'm coachable," right? How do you
Unfortunately,
find
mistakes
out?
are made sometimes, Troy. Unfortunately, mistakes are made.
Yeah, I know.
Learn over the years that, I mean, there's certain things you can do technically, testing them to ask technical questions.
Yeah.
And you can ask questions on situations where, how would you handle this with a customer and so on and so forth. And it gives you kind of an idea of if they're in the right direction or if they're way off base. So,
well, I'm now on my 6th version of questions to ask applicants because I keep getting snowed, man.
yeah.
So just a minute ago, I realized that this is an amazing moment for the Blue Collars Trade Show, and I didn't realize it till now because I just checked the stats. This might actually push us to 1.5.
This
This is
next question.
We've just had 3 top air conditioning technicians in the entire universe on the show. That's me, We had Dave Borowski on a couple weeks ago, and now you got Ron Crabtree, the top 3 in the entire universe. What's the odds of that? Right here on
Well, all right, so let's have a little fun with it. You want to get it to 1.6? Let's have a little fun, and you guys have to be honest because I can tell when you're lying. Who's the best technician of the U3?
Oh,
Well,
I'll let our guests chime in.
here's what I will say. I spent most of my life in the Midwest where there's a variety
Here we
of
go.
equipment. So how proficient are you on fuel oil, Chad?
I was the fuel
here we
oil
go.
guy
That's what I was looking for. Bring it.
at the Farquhar Company before I got to Atlas Butler.
You ran 3 calls a year, huh? No, I think we all have our own strengths. I'll cede to the King Dave on that one. He's probably the one I would say is the best.
The only problem with Dave is when you run a service call with Dave, it's almost like you have to have a lawyer there with you the whole time because he breaks the entire house down.
I know.
He goes from talking about air conditioning to door hinges like that.
Yeah.
I feel confident that my house is going to be exactly the same temperature within 0.1 degree of everywhere I walk, with a slight breeze in my hair.
Yeah,
in my house.
better believe it. Dave is
Yeah.
the man. I would have to concede that as well.
All right. Well, then who's last then?
right.
Bring
Well,
it.
so
We
so
gotta
Ron,
know. You guys are performance paying. Who's
Rock,
first?
paper, scissors, fork, Chad.
I'll throw one back to Ron since he made the fuel oil stab. I've still been in the field for the last 10 years, buddy.
Like riding a
just
bike.
did it,
Oh
You
man.
did it this morning. What'd you do all day, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh
You get-
man.
I'll take last place. I'm fine
Did we
with
just put our guest in last place as the worst?
That's pretty. But think about it. You're your
not very
last
good.
place of the 3 greatest. That's
I'm-
not
I'm-
bad.
Yeah,
You can't lose either way.
like the
I'm humble
bronze,
enough to accept it.
the bronze medal.
I think
All right.
that's like asking who is the greatest hitter, Hank Williams Ted
Hank
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, Ted Williams or
Depends on what you're
Stan
talking about,
Musial,
Hank.
He's pretty good. Depends on what you're hitting.
Yeah.
Might want
All
to get
right,
Warren
so-
in that conversation if you're talking about other things.
Exactly, Junior. Okay, so you got into the tech side, you lit things up. Are you a believer in club memberships?
Yes, sir. The lifeblood of your organization.
Are they truly the benefit to homeowners that we've been sold, or is it a bill of goods?
No, I think it's truly the benefit as long as the company utilizes it the way it should be. That's the key. You're supposed to be club memberships are supposed to be stopgap, to level peaks and valleys and give those customers who have committed to your company with a club membership to have those services provided when the peaks and valleys aren't there, so they don't need it when the peaks and valleys are there. So
It's also a great, huge responsibility on the technicians to make sure they're explaining the benefits of the membership on even the maintenance call. Hey, this is something that if we wouldn't have been here today, that would have got missed and cost you more money in the long run. Going over the benefits every time, it can just reinforcing them every time we make contact with them.
How often do you think you go to a home where there's a club member or non-club member where there's a no cool? So right now in Florida and Ohio probably doesn't have a lot of those quite yet, but you're getting there, right? So a couple, where it would have been fixed with routine maintenance. That they would not be in this situation if they had routine maintenance.
Well, I've been very familiarized with the Florida market where Chad's at, and Chad's been over the past several years, and know that drain lines are a very big problem, and burnt capacitors or popped capacitors are another, and that usually is an indication that maintenance wasn't performed properly too. So I would say probably about 90% of the repairs could be handled with proper maintenance. And I mean proper maintenance. And that's the other thing, Troy, is there's club memberships out there, and there's inspections out there. And I think if you're really going to be a person who's going to offer a true club membership, you should do a complete cleaning of the entire system.
What
with
does that mean? So tell me more about that. Cause I was hoping that's where you were going to go. Cause I think there's lots of people that are on maintenance plans and tech comes, sits in his truck, goes out, blows air on something and then he leaves. Right. So that's what it feels
No.
like, or that's what the homeowner feels like sometimes.
And
Right. So
as long as we call it a tune-up, the customer's okay with it.
Yeah, I think that in my opinion, and people may disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. In my opinion, it should be as clean as it was the day it was put in, the equipment itself. That says, tear the condensing unit apart completely, chemically clean the coil, make sure that the airflow is flowing properly through that, clean the evaporator coil, clean the pull the blower motor out, take the wheel and the housing and motor all apart, clean the water wash and clean the wheel. I mean, that's where
all the
the
time,
bulk
every year.
every year.
Yeah.
That's where the bulk of the issues come, and that's where if a company says, hey, I'm going to offer you this maintenance program to save you money, and they don't pull and clean that blower. I mean, that restricted airflow is one of the biggest contributors to poor
Yeah.
energy performance that could be there, and drops the capacity of the unit and just kills the efficiency of it altogether. And you're not pulling and cleaning it, you're really not doing the justice the system needs to be done.
Right.
And then after several 8, 9, 10 years, you get a wool coat on that wheel, and the guy comes in and says, hey, let me clean that, and then they clean it, and then the blower motor fails, and it's not because they cleaned it, it's because they didn't clean it for so long, and now the motor's running the way it's supposed to. And it's just, do the maintenance right or don't do it at all.
But that most of the time that extended, so the chemical washes and the motor pulls and cleans, though, that's typically not included in a $89 tune-up or a club,
Yeah.
right? So, which is why then we go back to the technicians and their appetite to talk about things, because now they go to a tune-up of which is theoretically supposed to be all included, and then, hey, I need to do this, and I need to do this, and it's going to cost you another $1,000, right?
Yeah.
That's so then they don't bring it up. Right. So who's being disserviced there?
Oh, the customers being disserviced. Definitely customers being disserviced because they're not getting what they're paying for. And that's a huge problem.
Yeah. But it's the comfort zone of the technician, right? He's saying being confident. And I think,
Yes.
when I listen to Chad talk, and Ron, sounds like you're slightly better than Chad, but not quite as good as Dave. Right, Jim? Is that what we were texting back and forth?
That's what they said.
We're gonna give Ron a silver medal here. But so that goes to, the technician guys, the technical guys, typically, because they don't have that confidence. I think you need confidence. Yeah. In order for me to go to the homeowner and say, you got to do this, right? You got to be super confident. And you two guys come across the way you sound, because you know what you're talking about, right? You know that capacitor will break, fail in July at the worst. And, in what day is it going to fail, Jim? The
July
worst
4th,
day
probably.
possible. Yeah. So
Hey, Jim, your in-laws will probably be at the house when it happens too. So I don't know if you really
it's the worst time. It's always at the worst time, right?
In the
So,
middle of the night.
but most technicians just are deathly afraid to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? And how do you fix
have
it?
the confidence to have those conversations? Because that's the facts and realities of what really happens. And the technicians that don't do that are really doing the disservice to the customer and to themselves.
They don't think, but they don't think so. That's the problem, right? Yeah, they think they're taking money out of their wallet, and in fact, they're actually waiting to take more. I don't know.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they believe that if they can get if we can get out of the house charging the customer the least amount of money that we can, that somehow that's.
I mean, I guess the question I would have with the technician is take the money factor out of it, to try to get them through the loop of this, is take the money factor out of it. What's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
If this was your grandma's house, what would you do?
Yeah. Well, the right thing to do is at least let the customers know what's going on, right?
Let them know about it.
Yeah.
That's why I think that really falls back to making sure that, you get these guys in here and they're being coached, they're being trained properly. They're being, a lot of managers and business leaders talk about, hey, it's about your KPIs, but it may be a little bit deeper than that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're hitting it right on the head with the confidence. These guys and gals out there in the trades have to have the confidence to bring up those scenarios in a way that they feel comfortable with what they're talking about. And that's handled through coaching and role playing and one-on-ones that, hey, run the situation. Tell me what you think. How would you handle it?
Yeah.
And so
Well, it's like going to the doctor and their doctor's like, I don't know, I'm pretty new at this, but I mean, if you don't do anything now, you'll probably be fine until next year, right? Come back next year. We'll take another look at it. Maybe
Right.
if you're
well,
still alive.
I think it falls back to that
Probably, yeah.
whole tune-up thing. If you got guys out there doing tune-ups the proper way, taking pieces, equipment apart and putting it back together, that builds confidence in understanding how things work, how things go together, and being able to have those conversations. I could tell you, it's funny that you look at plumbers and electricians and stuff, back in one of my other roles in the past, I had my plumbers were also the guys who sold the jobs and put the jobs in. And I thought, they're probably not selling jobs they don't want to do.
Right.
That's true
Right.
too. Yeah. Well, that happens that at 3:00 on a Friday afternoon, that blower wheel is unbelievably disgusting, and they're
Yep.
going to put it back in. You know why? Because they want to go home.
They want to go home. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I separated the plumbers from the folks who I actually created install crews for plumbers who went out and done stack repairs or water heaters and stuff like that. It was amazing how many more jobs were sold based on guys not having to do it. I think the same thing falls in with sales for HVAC, sales for electric and so on and so forth. You got an electrician walks in, looks at a panel in a nasty, basement, and he's like, man, I'll put a breaker in this thing and we'll move on. And really what needs to be done is panel service needs to be upgraded, and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it because he just doesn't want to get into that work. So
Right.
It's an interesting dynamic too. I mean, because you need both types of people, like you said.
yeah, you do.
People do work, people sell the work, and they're usually not the same person.
Shouldn't be. I mean, there's the exception to the rule. There's a lot of guys out there that are good at doing both, but
Do you from a philosophy standpoint, and you got into, you were in the tech, you've done it all, right? You've literally done it all. But if we stick with the tech roles for a minute, the technicians that are in, so there's maintenance techs, there's repair techs, there's selling techs, there's different names for all this stuff, right? But most are not good at all of those, right? Would you agree?
yeah,
Should every tech have the ability to sell new equipment if it is in front of them?
no,
Yeah.
there's technical factors that factor into that they may not be trained. Now, can they have the ability to be trained to be able to do that? Absolutely. I think that's a key indicating factor for some companies that are missing out on growing their talent and saying, hey, what's my progression plan as a maintenance tech? I get hired in as a maintenance tech. Am I always going to be a maintenance tech? That's an appetite for a disaster, because that technician who progress in his career, if you're not going to provide that for him as an employer, he's going to go find it somewhere else.
Mhm.
He's going to go find it somewhere else. And that's why we see a lot of companies out there like, I can't keep techs. I'm like, well, what's your progression plan with that? Where are you progressing you guys to? You're hiring them in as maintenance techs. 7 years later, are they still maintenance techs? I wouldn't want to stay working for you either. So
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's what they say, that not only, obviously people expect to get paid, so that's a no-brainer. But what keeps people, that's what gets them in the door, right? But what keeps them there is being appreciated, having some training and some advancement opportunities, right? What does my personal growth look like? They're
Yep.
not going to leave for 50 cents, right? If you give a shit about them. So, and they can see a brighter future.
Right.
So tell us about yours, right? So you went from tech, they got all the awards and they ran out of space. So they said, hey, Ron, you should do a different job.
Well,
Right? Have any more room for these
progressed
awards.
into team leader, helping people grow. And, that's kind of when Chad and I met. I was in that role at that point in time. The company that we worked for, Atlas Butler, it had a division in Cincinnati, and that's where I was at. We bought a small company in Cincinnati. We were growing that, and that's where I was at. Chad was around behind all my clean stuff. Mad because there wasn't nothing to find or do.
Yeah.
I got this special customer I got to go out to, and you were already there, so I just wasted my day. No, I was just joking.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sparkly clean blower wheels everywhere you go.
everything
right?
was
Had all the
already-
IQ and everything they needed, new systems, so on and so forth. But anyway,
I'm surprised Chad found any success at all then.
well, he knew what success looked like, Troy. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
I'm teasing, Chad.
How did you, because not every tech, everybody, we all kind of think, we talked about this before, but I think we all assume that every tech wants to be a manager or run their own company someday or whatever, right? I don't think that's necessarily true. Do you?
No, I don't. I mean, frankly, I've been in the business for as long as I have. I don't have a desire to own my own business.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Did you find transitioning to management being in the field easy or hard? And how did you get
actually
there?
I found it fairly easy because I was already kind of in that the team leader role. You're still in the field.
Yeah.
But you're also helping people grow. And then as I transitioned on to my next, in operations and service management, it was just easy because I was dealing with that anyway. And after I was a team leader, I became a service manager. That was really easy because I like dealing with all the problems anyway. So
Right.
So you were the go-to guy for all the guys that
challenge, I mean, not just technical challenges, but also customer challenges too. I'd be the one that
Chad just sends them the link to ChatGPT, and he just.
Oh yeah, we didn't handle Chat GPT back then. It was Chad GPT.
There you go. I like it.
No, but I mean that's kind of how it progresses, right? Once you start doing really well, they're like, all right, we got an upset customer. Send Chad, send Ron, and then you handle that right a few times, and then all of a sudden you're team leader, and it makes sense to the rest of the team too.
Yeah. If they respect it and they understand it, then they're good with it, right?
Like, I think a lot of technicians have the idea that that they want to be a service manager or they want to be in leadership only for the purpose of coming out of the truck.
Yeah.
Just so that they can work in the office.
Yeah.
And you can already tell that that's the attitude. That's why they never get promoted if if you know it's going to turn into that.
Yeah, I mean,
their only desire is to work less.
Right.
Yeah. Your best service manager should still be out in the field with the techs and stuff. So anybody who's fully in the office is exactly what Chad said. Just wanted to come out of the truck in general.
So then managing a business, so general management of a business, do you think, what's the importance of technical skills to be an effective HVAC general manager?
I don't think it's important.
Like zero?
I don't think it's important as long as you have somebody that's technical in your organization.
Yeah.
You don't have to be that person. I mean, it's just like anything. If you're going to be a great general manager, you got to have people around you with that are really good at your weaknesses.
Pick up your lack. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of guys fail because they want to try to take on everything and be that everything. And you just can't. You can't. Once you get to a certain size, you just can't be that everything. You have to be able to find a trust. I mean, I watched you guys with Julie Blake. And, he had to find somebody he could trust with Julie. And I did the same thing with Julie when I was working with her, and she's in a good position now with what she's doing. So you have to have those people you can trust that know what's going on. I think the biggest thing for a general manager is to be able to impart the vision of what the organization needs to do on the team, and then really kind of play maestro. Just like an orchestra maestro, and say, hey, you're twisting this lever over here, and you're twisting this lever over here. You're making sure everybody, the motivating, you're keeping everybody's positive, the hopes high. You're building a great culture, and so on and so forth. And that's what's been successful for me when I got into general management. I knew enough about the sales and I knew enough about the technical side of it, but I didn't have a lot of financial experience. And I had somebody on my team that I said, look, I know how to do this. You're going to teach me how to do this. And then we're going to do this really well together. So,
yeah. So of all those positions, so then you went so tell us what happened after that. So I know you general managed a couple different places, right? So tell us a little bit more about that, what you liked, what you did, and then regional stuff. I mean, you've done more, right? So from a career path standpoint, you've kind of touched every mark, it seems like.
Yeah, I was a general manager for about 6 years. The company I was working for at the time, they gave me a task to grow the business, double the business in 3 years, and I did exactly that, and really ramped up the profitability of the business. I mean, we were pushing close to 20% profitability, and they said, "Hey, do you think you could do this across our entire organization?" I said,
Okay,
"Entire."
so back up a second. So you doubled it in 20. Let's not fly over that. That's a
Okay.
pretty big deal. So to double a business, what was it, and what did you double it to in 3 years?
So when I took it, we were a $12 million organization, and we took it to $24 million.
It's not easy to do. It's easy to go from 500 to a
1 to
million,
2.
right?
Yeah.
1 to 2, but 12 to 24, that's a big deal. So what did you do? What was, if you had to put 3 of the main things, what were 1, 2, 3? What are they?
Slowed it down and built the structure to handle it, and put and empowered the people to help us get there. You gotta build the vision and say, hey, this is, from a sales perspective on our heating and cooling business, this is what we're going to do. And you
Mhm.
guys need to make it happen. And here's my suggestions of how you get there. Not one of the big things we did on that is we limited the text to 4 calls a day. This is all you're getting. 4 calls a day. Slow down, take care of each customer the way they need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Same thing with plumbing and the electric side of the business. Slow down. Let's grow this thing organic, because it was all organic. We didn't have any. There was no acquisition whatsoever. It was completely organic.
Yeah.
In the time period. So
What's that same business doing today? Are they still growing?
they're about the same, 24 million since
Hmm.
I
They need
left.
the so it is people, and it's getting them to believe in your vision and take it as their own, right?
Yeah, yeah. The,
It's not just marketing.
no, I think
It's marketing's fault.
I, I I think marketing does hold uh, I guess you want to call it some of the glory and some of the defeat and some of that too. But I think it's more making sure that you're doing everything you can do with every opportunity that's put out there. Um,
There you go.
one of the first things when I've been doing a little bit of consulting work over the past few months here, and one of the first things I ask is, what's your completion rate on your bookable opportunities? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, all right, we're gonna start from square one. How many people call to use your services, and how many people do you go see? Right. And it's shocking to see that, marketing's driving a lot of opportunities, but they're not
They're
capitalizing.
not close.
One, because they're not answering their phone, and two, they're not making themselves available when customers do. So
What? Why are they not answering their phone?
it's a good question.
What
It-
the
it-
hell?
And so then there's another drop off once they get to the house, and how many different things, and da 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 da. And then they go, I don't know, we didn't do anything today. What
Yeah,
was it?
in the heating and cooling side of the business, I benchmarked. You should properly staffed. You should complete about 90% of your bookable opportunities. You're gonna have about a 10%. You're gonna have about a 10% fallout rate, whether it's cancellation or whatever it may be. I give it a little bit less in that with plumbing and electric. I think it's 80%. And the only reason I say that is everything that our plumbers and electricians can do out there in this world can be bought at Home Depot or Lowe's, right? So you got a lot of people that are calling in to get information. It's an opportunity to book a call, but they're really just calling in to get information of what may or may not be able to do. So
Yeah, they're weighing out if it's worth it to do it themselves. Yeah.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think it's about 80%. If you're running higher than that 80 or 90%, you've got either you don't have enough calls or you got too many people. If you're running lower, you've got too many calls or not enough people. So, and that's how you kind of cascade yourself.
And then the next layer is, okay, so now that you run the call, so then what do you measure from there? All right. So you book the call, high five, we booked the call, we're at the home, right? And then, so now what are the key things that businesses should be looking at right? So obviously there's diagnose, figure out, and recommend and all that kind of stuff. But what's your, how do you coach people in that once they arrive to the home? What's the expectation?
I think he froze.
He's thinking about it hard.
He's intense.
Yeah. Just
Really taking a moment.
Just take a minute, Ron, and just think about the
Yeah,
question.
no hurry. Think about it. Want to make sure we get a good
That
answer.
froze in the perfect frame, dude.
Perfect. Oh, there he goes. Here, let me pause this real quick. I
Oh
can pause it.
God.
I don't know how to pause it.
You can just cut it out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
44
they're gonna have
minutes.
to cut it out.
But it's interesting.
just-
It's so funny how all of this is nothing's changed, right? So
No, it's been the same since 1998 when I started. You know,
I know it is. It is. I still believe that there is a decline of people that want to do it, though. I can tell you that.
I think
That's
that
the only thing that's really changed, in my opinion.
maybe I don't know if there's maybe a decline of people that want to do it. It's a decline of people who take personal responsibility to do it. It's like life has become too easy for some people, right? So it's
right?
like,
Yeah.
I don't have to work
Well,
that.
that's
Everything
it's.
will work out just fine. You know, their
I'm not
parents
sure
have
what
too much.
happened, gentlemen, but I'm back.
I don't know, man. Troy asked you a question, and it froze perfectly, like you were really thinking about it. So we're like,
Yeah.
No,
Ron,
everything went dark on my end. I don't know if the power flickered or what happened here, but it just everything
Yeah.
shut down. Must have
All
been
right.
the Troy asked the question that broke the internet, I guess.
I
Yeah.
did. But if you had a minute to break out and go check ChatGPT for the right answer, we're
I
anxious
actually
to hear
didn't
it.
even hear your question, so let's go for it.
All right. So here's the scenario. And I agree. So there's metrics and the KPIs and everything. It's actually a fascinating business in the home services because literally everything is measured, right? Part of the problem though, with most businesses, is they don't actually measure it, right? They guess, put a thumb in the wind. All right, but the phone call comes, marketing does their job, makes the phone ring. The call center does their job and books the call, right? Now the technician gets dispatched to the home and they're at the home. Take it from there, what the expectations and KPI metrics, because you're saying 90%. So what happens after that?
Well,
On a repair call?
you got to capitalize on the opportunity. It depends on the type of call. I mean, if it's an age piece of equipment, you want to make sure that you're at least providing the replacement options for customers. Depending on your market, what's the average lifespan of the system to have those conversations? What are the recommendations that you're looking at? Or are you closing for something on every job? You know, are you doing a thorough enough inspection to make sure that the system's at peak performance? And there's a lot of things out there that can help you get through that with system efficiency reports and so on and so forth to understand that, hey, where does this piece of equipment fall in? And then really, a lot of different CRMs have ways of measuring closing rate. Are you closing for something on every one of those opportunities? So
There he goes again.
am I out?
Must be a storm in Ohio.
I can hear
it's
you
cold
guys. I
up
don't know
there
if you
right
can hear
now.
me.
I heard.
I'm not sure what's going on here, gentlemen.
Where I'm trying to get him to go is he's probably going
No,
to
you
bail
guys are
jump
frozen and
off
I'm not.
again. Because that's the hardest part for a technician is, and we've talked about this, Chad, right? Is, you know, 9 out of 10 times you get dispatched to a call and you have an idea what's wrong. No, cool. 10 years old, blah, blah, on this street. 9 times out of 10, you're already going to know what the problem is before you even get there. It's going to be this, or this. That's it, right? But how often are they going beyond that? Or, how often should they close that, right?
Yep.
Fix it. And how often should they go,
Oh.
here's the culprit of what caused it and go further, right?
I can
So we're
fill
stuck
in
in
for
this world of $350 average tickets and it doesn't make any sense.
it's that's where your invoice coaching comes in. The service manager reading over what actually happened on this call. And we have a saying around here because most of our calls are drain line calls, like Ron was saying. We have a lot of humidity down here. Those drain lines have to be flawless come July, August,
Yeah.
right? And if they're not, they back up. Well, you already know on the way there because of the symptoms that you have a backed up drain line. So is the technician going to go there and say, yeah, your drain line's clogged. Give me a moment. I'll unclog it and I'll be on my way.
Right.
Or are they going to treat it like any other service call? Right. So our motto is the drain line call only is a drain line call only if you make it that way. If you treat it like any other call and you do a complete system evaluation, and I've even gone so far as to tell them, because you can tell as soon as you walk up to an air handler whether or not the drain line's clogged. I tell them to ignore it. Don't even look. Don't even talk about it yet.
Yeah.
Because you'd say some customers, and this has happened where, oh, your drain line's clogged. The customer will go outside and start sucking it out themselves, and now they don't want to pay you for anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because the customer thinks that by getting out of there the easiest, least expensive way, that's the right way to do the service call. But we can go in and say, hey, I'm already here. It's going to be $89 whether I'm here for 10 minutes or 2 hours.
Yeah. It's just
Let's really make the most out of this visit and go over this entire system and see what's not up to peak performance, or if the whole thing is at peak performance.
It's like putting air in a flat tire, right? If that's all you're going to do, then you're never going to solve the problem.
That's right. You're going to be at the gas station every morning filling up air.
Ron, if you don't want to answer this question, it's fine.
No kidding.
We've already kind of gone over it.
Now my internet says it didn't want to talk to you. You broke my internet, Troy.
We pretty much answered the question for you.
Appreciate that. What's the next question? I'm joking. I think it's really just making sure you guys are doing the right things every day.
Repair call. How many of those should a technician fix?
Fix?
Not walk away with a diagnostic only.
All of them.
Well, I agree with you, but if you had to put a benchmark,
I mean, you should be closing rate about 75% on those.
Yeah. So what's the other 25%, Ron? Is it, hey, this is what's going on with your system today. I've done everything right. I've taken my time. It's been about an hour and a half now. And I come back and I tell you what's going on. Is the other 25% of those people just like, okay, now that I know, I'll call my home warranty company. I'll call my neighbor down the street. I'll do it myself. Is that the other 25%?
I mean, I think the other part of that too is there may actually not be anything going on with their system either. So I hate to say that. There is those that do come in, hey, I had a weird noise, and it may not even be pertaining to their system. Right.
I think we're going to talk about ghosts and Bigfoot. All right, here we go.
Might be Bigfoot shaking the condenser out there or something. I don't know.
Could be.
I mean, the 25% falls into everything that you just said, Chad, and then all that. So
I think that's the thing, though, is the technicians get into the technicians. I'm not a technician, so it's easy for me to say, but it's they get into the head of what I would do, right, or what they would do, and it's because, well, yeah, maybe they only need to do that one thing, because if it breaks tomorrow, they can go fix it themselves. But as a homeowner, that's not the same thing, right? So I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't buy an optimum system with variable speed. So I'm not going to let you do it either, right? So, and I think people in general, technicians, salespeople in general, just get in their own way and don't give homeowners and business people, whatever clients they have, the opportunity to learn about what it is. We used to talk about it all the time. I mean, how many times in a person's life, Jim, you've been around a really long time.
A long time.
How many new air conditioning systems have you purchased in your whole life where you sat down with an air conditioning guy and bought a brand new system?
Two.
Out of 100 years.
Most people, I've only bought two. Me too, right, in my whole life. Yeah. And most people don't do more than 2 or 3 in their whole life. And yet we want to burn through it like they do it all the time, right? I think we do. I think businesses in general, home service businesses, do people a very big disservice because they're in a hurry.
But also, along those lines, I was always a firm believer in maintenance. I mean, maintaining the system. And you buy a new house, they come out and they tell you should have this, you have people out twice a year to maintain your system. And a lot of homeowners just, you're just trying to sell me something. Right. No, you need to maintain your system. And I think if you do that, obviously it extends the life of the system, but a lot of homeowners just don't buy into that. And I always did. So
you got to believe it's the confidence and
Are you the same way on your vehicles, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I've got a 2016 Ram pickup truck. It's got 275,000 miles on it, and I'd drive it to California tomorrow.
You still have that thing?
I do.
Holy shit.
I did buy a new one. Now my daughter actually is driving my old pickup. My 18-year-old is actually driving my older pickup truck. But I would jump in that truck tomorrow and drive to California in it.
Yeah.
All of my vehicles, I always had them 10 plus years.
Yeah.
You know.
As soon as I get my license back, I'm going to be that way too.
Well, yeah.
Just kidding.
So
Just kidding.
let me ask you this, Ron. I always get the controversy comments whenever I say this kind of stuff down in the comments of our 1.5 million viewers. But
1.7, I just checked the stats.
Man,
I'm
really hoping you guys grow here.
Yeah. You're killing it,
new generation. The new generation. Now, don't get me wrong. Back when you and I were first doing it 20 years ago, there was always the slackers and the guys that didn't want to work and lazy people and all that. But I believe, and this is where I always get ran down in the comments, that the new generation, some of these guys that come in here to look for a job, you could tell it's the first time they've spent more than an hour outdoors. They've been inside their entire lives so far, and now they're ready to go to work, but they've never been in public, it seems like, and they've never experienced a hot day. So how do you feel about the new generation and the future of what you and I and people like us have worked so hard to build in this industry?
I think it's different, man. You just have to, you're going to have to embrace it. There's the newer generation is a different type of generation, and you need to manage them differently too. It's not that they're afraid to work hard. I mean, I got a 24-year-old son. It's not that he's afraid to work hard, but he wants to know his schedule, right? And I know that's tough for you and I, guys like you and I, to swallow, because we grew up without a schedule, right? We didn't know if we were coming home at noon one day or noon the next day. And I think you have to build an environment that is conducive for the type of people that you have. And that for a lot of folks is hard to do, knowing that, man, I would just keep working. That's just not what motivates them though. Right. It's not what motivates them. And I don't want to put a broad stroke on a generation, because I think each generation has different characteristics of it. You've got some of those younger, newer generation guys that work just as hard as you and I did back in the day. But as a whole, it's different. They just want to know. They lived on schedules, right? Their whole entire life. You and I are Gen X, man. We drank out of water hoses, and we just had to be home by the time the lights were on. We were the feral generation, and that's we can't expect every other generation to be the same way, man.
Yeah, I understand. It's a hard pill for me to swallow when somebody has to get off early because they got to get to the Olive Garden. And I'm like, what?
Wait a second.
What?
You apparently haven't been to the Olive Garden in a while.
Chad, there's unlimited breadsticks.
And I think, you might be overselling. You ever heard of the comedian Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite lines is he was talking about outdoors, right? People that are outdoorsy. And remember this? So Chad, I think you're maybe selling the whole going outside thing. According to Jim Gaffigan, if it's so great outside, why are all the bugs trying to get in my house? Kind of true.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
I don't know, man. I just I really don't. Maybe I'm not articulating this properly.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. It's the moral of the story is they're not like you, and that bothers you.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Ron.
Nailed it. Yep.
Rod's the first person who had the balls to say that.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same way, but you have to
pretty soon.
Here's what you have to figure out is how can you get the production out of them that you need to. I think they're willing to give you that production. Yeah. They just want to do it on a shorter time frame. You talk about these kids are growing up with tablets in their hands and emails and stuff like that. There's technology that's out there that can help them be just as effective as other people in probably less time.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, because AI is huge, right? And I find AI very useful if I'm out working on an air conditioning unit that I don't know what the codes mean or something like that. I can find it pretty quickly. But do you think that this same generation that I was just bitching about is going to turn to AI and then all of a sudden they've learned nothing? Just the same way that a GPS can take you to your location and you don't know how you got there. I believe that AI can be a very useful tool, help you be more efficient, but I also believe that in the wrong hands, it can be an enabling crutch.
Well, do you think if a kid,
Sure.
a young person AI is the same thing over and over, they're going to continue to AI the same thing over and over? I don't think so. I don't think that's true. I think they're smart enough that once they've learned it, oh yeah, I've done this before. And it's
So
just it may be a different way of learning for them too. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I
I mean,
it is a different way
I
of
learned by
learning.
tearing
That's
things
the way of
apart,
learning.
putting things back together, and having extra screws, and thinking, oh man, I'd probably take this apart,
burning
and put it back
yourself
together
up,
again.
getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
I learned the same way, and
It's
I
it's
can't unlearn those things.
it's like being pissed that they don't know how to shoe a horse if you're from the 19th century or something, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need it anymore.
Can you fashion a sword like a blacksmith, Chad?
No, I cannot.
See, they would have been pissed at you.
Yeah.
That
Boy,
generation would be like,
You're
"What the
kind
hell
of
good is this
worthless,
guy?"
aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how's he gonna make a sword?
Go make a sword out of a.
You guys make a good point. All right. I'm just, I'm going to continue to make mine.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we have the perfect technician, Ron, what's the thing that you obviously clearly built a team, and have growth, and have lots of people that there's probably a lot of people that work at some of your organizations that you hire and are still there, right? So what's the key to success with retaining? So we talk about that, get them and keep them, retain, gain and retain, right? But that's not just customers; that's employees too.
Well, I think
Probably more so.
the first thing that I would say is you have to invest in them. You have to
Like
invest
give them
into those
give them
people,
money.
not just money, time, understanding what their motivations are. Keep them always wanting the next step or the next evolution in their career. Not painting them into a corner and saying, well, this is where you're going to be forever. Opening that conversation in one-on-ones and having regular one-on-ones. Hey, what's the next phase of your career look like for you, and what can I do to help you get there? Right. That's what builds the culture. That's what builds the trust. That's what builds the relationships that people say, hey, I'm going to become loyal to this person or to this organization because they have invested in me and they want to see what's best for me, and not just say it to say it, but say it to mean it, and back up what you say. So mentoring, coaching, training, having progression plans, doing one-on-ones, goal setting, help your team members set goals, create goals, and I'm a big proponent of goal setting. And the reason I like goal setting is it's the one way that I can hold them accountable for what they want in life. Right. You tell me, hey, I want to be this, I want to buy a boat, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to make $100,000 a year, I'll make $200,000 a year. The simple question I've always asked those individuals when I one-on-one is, hey, I'll use Chad for an example. Chad, is all the actions that you're doing right now putting you closer to your goals, or are they taking you further away from your goals? And if they're putting you closer, let's continue down that road. If they're taking you further, let's change course and get you on track to hitting these goals, and investing in those folks and making sure that they know that you care about their future.
Yeah. No, that's well said. That's a great point to any generation, by the way.
True.
Good job.
It's yeah. People do business and work for who they like and trust. Same thing, all right? It's just people need to know you give a shit. So
That's
People
it.
don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's right.
you should. That's a good line.
And that should be a T-shirt.
You should do that. Yeah, bumper sticker.
Well, I'm growing up. I just allowed one of my guys to get off for 2 weeks for paternity leave, and
You couldn't even. You could barely even say paternity leave.
I know. Did you
I
see
was,
that?
I was thinking of
did you
which
see
one.
how his,
Bonds, right?
how his face
thinking-
crinkled up when he said it? Maternity
He
leave.
looks a little angry. I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah.
Where I was thinking it would be like a day and a half at most. He, 2 weeks, and he sat down and I said, well, explain to me why you believe you need that much time. I said, you know what? Go enjoy your time, and we'll hold the fort down here.
So he sold you on it. So that means his communication skills are getting a lot better.
That's it, man. And I went out and ran all of his calls.
And you rewarded him with it by giving him time off.
Yep. So yeah, I'm growing up.
All
Love
right,
it.
let's do
How
a
much,
quick
how much
fire
paternity
round.
leave did you take, Chad?
Yeah,
One half of a day each
once.
time.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Three boys, one half of a day.
he
Back to work.
scheduled.
So that's
he
a day and a
scheduled all
half you had
in
off.
the morning.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jeez.
I took a week off with each of mine, so
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a loving father, Chad.
No, I didn't say there was. Am I coming across that way?
So Chad, Ron, I don't know if you knew this. You've known him longer than any of us. Did you know he hated kids that much?
His own, not all kids, just his own.
Yeah.
I do now. I didn't.
I don't know the
Oh,
way he's talking about the new generation. He hates all of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
Chad's a good dad. His kids love
I'm gonna
him.
get roasted in the comments on this show.
Chad-
I can just already tell you.
Chad's a good dad. I've known Chad just
Uh,
as long as since he's became a dad. So I mean, he's
Yeah.
been a good dad. So
He's a good dad.
his kids love him. His wife
Yes,
puts
they
up with
do.
him. So
Fair.
All right, Jim, one more question for Mr. Ron.
well, I'm going to fill in for Marissa today and ask Ron, what's your favorite tool?
that's progressed over the years. It's definitely not a tile saw. I can tell you that much.
It's
Or
fine.
we haven't had
Even-
any repeats of the tile saw.
Even though a tile saw is cool. I would say probably my Dwyer Magna Helic.
Ooh, yeah, that's a money maker.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Because I think all things lead through airflow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And what's
stole-
your
you stole my
what's your
answer.
next career move?
What?
Where do you see yourself next?
That's what I'm looking for currently.
Okay.
I'm actually a free agent right now, so I'm not 100% sure.
Looking to be drafted right here on the Blue
Looking to
Collar
be-
Trade
I'm
Show.
There you
looking to be
go.
drafted. I'm
That'd be
a free
nice.
agent. Looking for my next contract.
We should
I'm
do
telling you,
like,
one of those 1.9 million viewers that we have is bound to be looking.
Yeah,
we should do like an NFL draft on this show. Wouldn't that be funny? Just get a
Yeah.
bunch of guys, Gen Xers and some young kids coming out of school, right?
I like it.
Who's going first? Yeah. All right, Chad.
Let's see, buddy. Have you done any mushroom hunting yet? It's about getting to be into season yet up there.
I am going to report to say yes, I have. I found 11, but I only went out once.
11?
Yeah, I only went out once.
I only went out once.
So my time's been spent fishing lately, as you can see in my Facebook profile.
I did see that, man. Got some hogs. What's the biggest hog you caught since you took a break from work?
I think the biggest one I caught was just under 6. Now you guys got to remember, I'm a northern guy, so
Yeah,
I don't get to
That's
see those.
freshwater.
I don't
We're
get to
the
see
real-
those double digit Florida and so on bass, but it was just a little under 6. So
That's nice.
All right, last question. So you know that I teach here at the Blue Collar Trades Academy, and there's a lot of options out there for people that are wanting to get into the trades. Not really sure that they know all of their options, but would you recommend to somebody that's looking to get into the trades that the training be a traditional technical school or something with real hands-on learning and on-the-job training? Which one would you recommend? Or be
I
a
think-
combination?
I think a combination of both of them is really where it boils down to. I think that the technical schools give you the basics, understanding how electricity works, understanding how refrigerant flow works, understanding how, the mechanical devices work and so on and so forth. But you still need that on the job training. I think if you can get through a technical school that can give you the basics of how to do a tune up, you're in good shape. Because now if you can get on with an organization who invests in their employees, who understands that is the best way to grow their employee base, is investing in lesser experienced folks, you're going to be in a better situation. But I do believe you do need that baseline of training with a program like yours, Chad, or other programs that are out there. So
Excellent.
Very cool. All right.
Cool.
How many jobs have you had in your whole life, Ron? Rough number.
I mean, I've had a lot of different jobs, but not very many companies. I think maybe 4 altogether in my whole entire life, but many
What
different
was your,
jobs with those 4 companies.
so how many, so in there, what, dozen different jobs maybe?
I've done pretty much everything that comes in heating and air conditioning. I've done.
What's your
Oh.
favorite job that you've ever had?
I would probably say that my favorite job is probably the sales aspect, selling new replacement equipment.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's not a bad world. I often thought about that. It's like, if I ever just wanted to just retire, sell everything, whatever, I think I would go sell air conditioners just for fun, right? It's kind of,
Fun.
it is. Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't do it for free, but I would do it
no,
because it's,
no.
yeah. So, all right. Okay. So let's give it to you. So Ron, what final comments, any little pitches that you want to put out there for yourself? Feel free.
Hey,
Floor
I'm
is
a free
yours.
agent. I'm looking at in a kind of a regional, more of a broader role, multi location management, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, restoration, or where I'm the strongest at. So looking for the next step. I like to grow stuff. I like to develop things and help people achieve their dreams and goals.
There you go. Love it. All right. Well,
Very
I
cool.
really appreciate you coming on, and I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us. And
Yep.
you're easy to find. If you just type in Ron Crabtree on LinkedIn, you'll find him, and he responds very, very quickly. So anybody looking. Anyway, so let's hear it for Ron. Everybody, thank you, Ron.
Good
It was
seeing you
really,
again,
really
Ron.
fun.
Thank
you,
you.
old friend.
Let's meet up in Dallas again.
Yeah.
Now I remember what you were saying. Like, oh yeah, now I remember that night. Yes, very
Chad
fun.
was upset that night a little bit, Troy. That
Yeah, man. You took
He
my
was-
bartender away from me.
Chad was the highlight until Troy walked in.
He was mine until you got there, brother.
There you go. Let's do it again. All
Thanks,
right,
guys. Appreciate
Thank
y'all.
Thanks,
you.
Ron.
Yeah.
Be good, brother.
Yep. We'll see you guys.